All right, everybody, welcome to episode 65 of the All JuveCast. And as per many requests, I have a very special guest. Maurizio from around Turin has joined me today. Maurizio, how are you doing?
Ciao Alberto, thanks for inviting me. Very nice to be here and to talk with you.
Absolutely. It's the pleasure's all mine, my friend. We're coming off the Derby della Mola with Torino there, and it was another cagey match there, and we pulled it out 1-0. And De Ligt getting his first goal as a Juventino. Now that these matches usually you throw form, you throw tactics, everything out the window.
Yeah,
The derbies,
yes.
but we still got a lot of fans left a little frustrated for a few matches in a row here. But we got a lot of questions from fans too, so we're gonna break down the game just a little bit, talk on it. But Maurizio, your thoughts on this derby with Torino? What how are you left feeling after the match?
Yeah, you said pretty well. I mean, derby is always a different game, and it was indeed also this in this occasion. It was a tough match. We were all expecting this. We were also playing away, even if in Turin. And for Torino, as we all know, that is the game of the year for them. So they really put an extra effort. To be honest, in the end, Torino didn't create a lot of occasions. We didn't play well, of course,
Yeah.
but I must say we were pretty much in control of the game. Besides the first 30 minutes where we were suffering a bit, but then we were in control of the game. And even if we didn't show a fantastic game like maybe we were doing a month ago, in the end, we were able to bring the victory home. Very happy for the league, as you say. It was about time that he was uh, going to do some highlight in a positive way.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I don't know what happens to this guy. Every ball that is in the penalty box is attached to his hand for some reason. So
Oh,
it's
I
very
know.
funny.
It's
I don't know if
great.
this never happened so far to anyone else. I don't know. It's strange.
It is strange. I was gonna say, like, I can't honestly think of anybody ever like seeing a scenario like this. It's been like I don't know how many matches in a row, and it's just he's at the base of his.
Exactly. But anyway, we all know the Elite is a very strong guy.
Absolutely.
Very good. I mean, I was in love with him already in last season when I was watching him playing at the stadium in Turin, but also in Amsterdam. Now he's really proving that he's very solid and strong. He can definitely be our next Chiellini for the next 10, 15 years if he wants to stay at Juventus. And it was very nice to see him celebrating the goal in that way.
Yeah.
You could really see how happy he was. It was a kind of liberation for him to score this goal. And I think now this will boost him his confidence, and he will perform even better in the next games.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that. Yeah, it's kind of funny, you touched on Torino not really creating a lot, and Juventus, you felt we were in control. And I had to watch the game a second time because the first time I was really frustrated. Like, I was like, what is wrong with us? I watched a second time and I didn't feel that way. Not just because I knew the result was 1-0, but I started watching. It wasn't it wasn't absolutely awful from us. We just didn't get a lot of chances that we're getting used to us creating now under
Yeah,
Sorry
exactly.
style, right? We're starting to create a lot more chances. This one, I think that was what left people frustrated is we just didn't get a lot of the chances we're getting used to getting now. And I started looking at this particular match did leave me feeling a little more like it was one of the matches from last year where it was more possession, like one guy's trying to beat a couple guys. I looked at the stats. We finished with less than 400 passes. We were around 370 or something around that. This year under Sari, we're used to almost 500 every match passes.
Mm,
We've had
yeah.
multiple that have over 600 and one or two over 700 passes because he talks about all the passes need to mean something and it causes a reaction in the defense and he's always working them, right? So that was one thing I noticed, but a couple bright spots you touched on it, De Ligt for sure. For me, Quadrado. I don't know what's gotten into him this year at right back, but it's like a new man. It's good to see.
It, yeah,
Go.
he is, and he's really putting an extra effort on the pitch. Wherever he put him now at this stage is so in a great form that even if we put him instead of Pjanic, probably he will perform. Uh, but yes, I would like to add one thing, Alberto, because you mentioned a number of times frustrated, and somehow it is correct because uh, having the players we have, we all expect always a fantastic game.
Yeah.
But let me say that we as a Juventus fan, we are very much spoiled at this point.
Yeah.
We are basically always winning. So we are getting frustrated for the way we are winning, which is a nice way to be frustrated, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, I mean, I will not go into the Allegri against
No,
Sarri
no,
because
no.
I don't like these kind of things. But I'm always been the one saying that I always go to the game live, and I don't know, in the last 2 years I've been to the stadium like 50, 55 times, something like that, and probably 4 or 5 times I left the stadium happy for the way we played.
Yeah.
This season, this is changing a bit. There is more excitement to go to the stadium again to watch the guys play. Besides the result, which of course is crucial, is 80% maybe, but you also want to have fun. And this year we are actually having some fun watching the games. It's a roller coaster now because the season just started. The
Yeah.
coach is relatively new. So we are really going up and down. But if you ask me, I'm very positive about the next part of the season. I'm very confident, and the good part that I was afraid with Sarri, to be honest, that maybe we were starting to play a little bit better, but we were going to lose some points along the way.
Yes.
This is not happening, and so we are getting the two parts. We are getting points, and we are playing a little bit better. Again, not in the last month, but I'm confident that now we will get back
Yeah.
to our standard way of playing, let's say.
Yeah, I agree with you too. And I think that's kind of what it was. We were playing a bit better before this last stretch, like you touched on.
Yeah,
And I think that's why we just, as fans, we just, when you get that taste and like you like what you're seeing, and then all of a sudden it goes away for a bit, everybody's over analyzing, trying to figure it out. We just want them to get back to that. Winning, of course, is
yeah.
always number one, which is fantastic. We're still undefeated in all competitions, which is
Yes,
amazing.
and
And go.
Alberto, if you think about that, without Inter, probably this Serie A was already finished at this point because we are like
Yeah,
+8, +9, +11 against the others. We have Inter this year, and they will fight for sure till the end, point on point,
yeah,
because we know Conte. Okay,
yeah,
but this is to say that I think I read a statistic yesterday. Only in 2 occasions in the past, after 11 games in Serie A, we had so many points.
yeah.
So that's a good statistic, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one thing that you touched on too that I've been saying to fans is just if you would have guessed the transition to get into Sarri would have left us with this many points at this point in time, I probably would have said no. So
No,
we got to
yeah.
take that and be happy, right? We were talking about Cuadrado. I thought Dybala did incredibly well too. I want to hear from you. A couple players that have impressed you the most so far this season, and maybe a couple that you're expecting a little more from. Just we'll go two for
Yes,
each.
2-2. Okay, fine. Then I say Pjanic. I'm happy because
Yeah,
he's back to his quality standard, let's say. Pjanic used to play in a different role when he was playing in Roma. Then when he joined Juventus, he was moved a little bit back on the pitch to start to build the actions and the play. In the last 2 seasons, I think he made a pretty big step back for him and for his career eventually. To be honest, I see a new Pjanic this year. He's much more involved. You were mentioning about the number of balls that he's touching every game, and Pjanic is one of the top one. So Pjanic, I'm very happy with him. And the other one, I would say probably okay. We mentioned Quadrado, but I would like to do an extra mention for Dybala because
yeah,
he is also coming from a very difficult period. Uh, also a little bit like Pjanic, also because he was playing in a position that was probably not ideal for him. Now I think he's starting to really show what he can do once again. He's starting to be very effective and contribute a lot in the style of game that Sarri is asking for. He's the guy that I think it's difficult to talk about Juventus flags, Juventus icon like they were in the past.
Yeah.
I could never mention, let's say, Dybala the same level of Del Piero, for example, simply because the football now is changed. But it's clear that Dybala really care about the jersey, about Juventus, and he always take the occasion to remark that. So I really would like to give him, let's say, an extra support for this because he deserves it, and he's starting again to show some quality football. He need to get more involved. I still believe that Dybala, like Ronaldo, like Costa, they are so quality players that they should always play on the pitch. It's for the coach to find the right alchemy between these top quality guys to play together.
Yeah.
This, I believe, this should be the main subject for the coach to make sure that the most important players, they all play on the pitch.
Absolutely. So Pjanic, Dybala for you for the two. Now two guys.
Yes, two guys where I may be a bit disappointed. For sure, number one is probably trending at the moment, but he's Bernardeschi.
Yeah.
When Bernardeschi was playing in Fiorentina, and for a Juve fan, stealing the best player from Fiorentina, it was meaning a lot. There were a lot of expectation on this guy, on this kid. And to be honest, it was already a slow start because he didn't play so much games. But I would say probably in this part of the season, in this year, he's playing many more minutes than in the past. And still, he's not really showing what he's capable of.
Yes.
He's very slow, he's very inconsistent. So that is probably one of the biggest regret I have right now if I look at the different players in our squad. So I still have confidence, even if, to be honest, I would say at this point, if Costa is healthy, if Dybala is healthy, if Higuain is healthy, of course, I don't even mention Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I think this guy should be ahead of him unless he's able to prove something else again. Okay. The other one, I would like to see more from Bentancur. Bentancur is not playing very bad. He's playing a pretty decent football, but we should pretend more from him. It's like when you go to a school, maybe it's not for you, but if sometimes I go to talk with my daughter's teachers, and they say, your daughter is very skilled, is very good, but she can do more. I think that's the same for Bentancur. He can do more, and Sarri believes a lot in him. So I think he should take really the chance to do a scale up, to upgrade a little bit his game. Yes, to step up. Yes, because it's a unique opportunity. Yes, at this point to really give us some sort of change in his football career.
Yeah, absolutely. So those two, and Bernardeschi, definitely trending. He's got a lot of fans that just love him and stuff. But I agree with you. We gotta see more. I don't know if it's hard to figure out what it is because some people are saying it's this 4-3-1-2. He gets out of place in that trequartista role, right? But last year, those were some of his best performances. Were in that role when he was free roaming from the center there. So. It's tough to say that it's even that. I can't figure it out with the kid. But he's shown some amazing skills and abilities. It's just not consistent.
And that's the word you say before, frustrating. That's exactly correct, I believe, with Bernardeschi because he's so skilled. Sometimes he shows, glimpses of fantastic football, and then he made a lot of mistakes, even basic ones. When he has to shoot, he doesn't, and this kind of thing. So let's see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And Bentancur, that's an interesting one to touch on too, because like you said, he's starting to get a lot of minutes, and he seems to plays fantastic for his national side, Uruguay. And we don't seem to get those same performances, and it's really strange. I'm not sure why. You would
Yeah.
think with all the skill around him, playing at Juve as well as like his national team, that he would be able to just kind of ease into it, right? He doesn't have to do so much. He can just kind of be free and have a little more freedom there. But I'm not sure. He's it's tough. You'll get one match where he's been fantastic, and then you get a couple duds with him too. So
Yeah, and
consistency.
again, I would say Bentancur, don't get me wrong. I think I will rate him, I will rate his season so far for sure from 0 to 10 above 6. But he's a player that could be rated above 7 easily.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
what I mean. Okay, you should try to do more.
yeah, 100%. All right, so let's get to some questions, Mauricio. We got a lot that come in. I usually start all the podcasts with guests when they join me for the first time with this question, but I wanted to wait just because a lot of fans were asking it too and want to know your story on becoming a Juventino. What was your story? How did you fall in love with Juventus?
Yeah, good one. Well, first of all, I was born and raised in Turin. So it was a kind of easy for me. It could
Yeah,
be either Torino or Juventus. I was a kid. I was like 5 years old. After that, I was at the hospital. I was having a little surgery on my knee, and in the room next to me there was someone else. And suddenly this guy was visited by a Juventus player. At that time it was Furino. It's an old guy, okay? He wasn't playing at that time, but I knew he was a Juventus player. So this guy, Furino, not only went to visit my neighbor, but also in the end came to visit me because my parents were asking him to do it. So we started to talk, and then, of course, that was the time I say, okay, now I am a Juventus fan. But then, I mean, even I remember pretty clear. Probably you remember the player Michel Laudrup
yeah,
from
oh yeah,
Denmark.
yeah.
Yeah, and I remember me. I'm pretty old. I look young, but I'm pretty old. And and I remember me playing, in the with my fans in front of my house. And during summertime, especially if there was a European Cup or World Champions, we like to do some tournament between friends. And I was always selecting Denmark because I had a jersey of Michel Laudrup.
Yeah,
So I wanted to be the Denmark guy. So that's it. I mean, these are short memories from the past. But
that's
as I
great.
say, at the time, it was more easy to become a Torino fan than a Juventus fan because Torino was more popular within the city. Yeah?
Yeah,
So I decided to go a little bit against the mass at the time, and because also I was attached to these black and white
yeah,
stripes, the old black
yeah.
and white stripes.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's cool. That's a great story. Now, another popular question: what motivated you to start around Turin?
Yeah, that's another funny thing. Basically, I am an engineer, industrial engineer, and I always used to travel a lot for business around the world. And I also always been a season ticket member of the Juventus. So every time I was traveling, maybe to US or Canada, and I had to spend the weekend away. If Juventus was playing that weekend and I couldn't go to the game, then I was really nervous. So I started to find some local clubs in the city I was, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, whatever. And so I started to meet with these guys, with these small clubs. Some of them were not even clubs at the time. And I recognized there was a need for them to really have some sort of direct connection to someone in Turin, giving them information about the team, but from the fan perspective.
Yeah,
Now with Twitter and with Facebook, this kind of thing is much more easier because you get a lot of information. But
yeah,
even if you talk about 5, 6 years ago, it wasn't exactly like that. So I started something on Facebook. I started a page on Facebook as an hobby, and I really started to provide information. For example, if Pogba was having a night out with I don't know Pereira, and they were doing some mess. I didn't care to say this. I was saying, of course, you will never listen this from Juventus, right? So
yeah,
this kind of information. people started to like, started to follow. Then it became big. And 4 or 5 years ago, I also started to organize events in Turin for the fans traveling for a game, which I think is the main added value that I provide to everybody, because people really are traveling from all around the world. Sometimes they travel alone, sometimes there's a couple. But when they meet with us, they know that they can meet other people from other parts of the world, and they become friends.
Yeah.
Then, thanks to social media, they stay connected. And for me, it's one of the things I like the most is actually true. The day after the match, I really love when people write me back saying, "Thank you, Maurizio, very nice experience, we enjoyed."
Yeah.
But most of all, I like when people that they were not knowing each other's, I see them, remain in contact maybe through Facebook and Twitter. They talk each other's together without
Yeah.
me, and
Yeah.
that means that I really created something. So this is I like to say that it's a kind of family, and this family is getting bigger and bigger every time someone is coming. Either he knows that he will meet someone that already met in the past, or he will meet some new people,
Yeah.
and
It
that's pretty cool.
it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, uniting people from all over the world around surrounded by the love of Juve. That's awesome, Maurizio. You're doing a fantastic job, man. It's awesome.
Thank
Uh,
you.
what's your favorite live game experience? So something you experienced in the Juventus Stadium.
Yeah, I would say two games in particular that I remember very well. One is the famous Juventus Real Madrid 3-1, with Piero, Trezeguet, and Edward scoring.
Oh yeah,
That was amazing simply because I can still visualize in front of me that day, the atmosphere of going to the stadium, entering the stadium. It was still in the Old delle Alpi, which was completely packed. Look, I'm talking and I'm getting shivers, I can tell. It was completely packed, and it was May, so it was still light, and then it became dark. Was fantastic, and then of course we had to come back from the first result in Madrid, and we played a brilliant game. I can tell you, remember pretty well the moment when Nedved got the yellow card, because it was like in Curva. I can tell you, it was like, oh no shit,
yeah,
because we knew that something bad was going to happen. Okay, it was like a fantastic night ruined by something, which will have consequences. Anyway, that was a fantastic game. And the other one, I was extremely impressed last season against Atletico Madrid. It was amazing night, because to be honest, I didn't believe.
yeah.
I didn't believe we could come back scoring three goals against Atletico Madrid, which normally concede 3 goals in 3 months.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was
so
a pretty wild one. That one.
and but then you saw them playing, and it was an okay game. But then when Ronaldo scored the first, then of course you start to believe. The stadium was amazing. Well, a lot of noise, one of the best performance of the stadium itself, and then we did it. But again, I think that was one game that, to be honest, maybe I will not be popular, but that game was won by Ronaldo. Full stop.
Yeah,
He did a complete difference in the game, and it was amazing. Then, of course, the others started to play better, because when you have a so nice atmosphere, you can really do some big thing. Then you start also to get the momentum. But to me, it was all due to Ronaldo. So
yeah.
chapeau.
Fantastic. Yeah, those are both incredible matches. To experience them live, I couldn't even imagine. That's fantastic. Let's get to some questions from Rav here. These should be nice and quick ones. Maurizio, your favorite beer of choice?
Yeah, Raf made a couple of funny questions. Beer, yes. Sorry, guys. I sometimes I exaggerate with the beers, but I love it. Beers, I like more stronger beers. So whatever is below 6, I try not to drink it. 6%. Okay, I try not. I like a stronger beer. I like. IPA, but I like mainly lager, but again strong. At the moment, I'm really in love with a Belgian beer. It's called the Cornet. It's oak. It's a very good taste. I like basically I like all the Belgian beers and some Italian craft beers.
Nice.
One at the moment is very popular. It's called the Baladin.
Okay.
You should try if you go to any Italy shop around the world. You know Italy,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chain. You will find this Baladin beer.
Awesome.
So guys, please bear with me if I always talk about beer, but it's it's an argument that normally make many people happy.
Oh, I can tell you the Canadians love it. We love it. Love our beer over here too.
No, I'm mainly asking sorry to the Muslim because there are a lot of people following from
Yeah,
Arabic countries. For them, it's not so nice to always see this kind of content, but
yeah.
please accept sometimes I'm not very good.
Your favorite player of all time?
Del Piero, without a doubt.
Fantastic.
I grew up with him. We almost have the same age. I went through all the phases of his career at Juventus. I met him a couple of times. He's top scorer and top number of presents for Juventus. He's an icon, a legend, and yes, I mean, no
Yeah,
other words needed, I guess.
he's with me too, Del Piero. Rav's last question: will we win the Champions League this season? You were saying earlier you're confident. You feel we could do it this year?
It's Champions League. It's a lottery, almost a lottery.
Yeah,
There are so many variables that even if you have the strongest team in the world, you might lose on the way. Thinking about there are many examples. Even last year, Juventus lost against Ajax, and
yeah,
who could guess about that?
yeah.
Manchester City lost against Tottenham, and I mean Manchester was 3-4 levels above Tottenham if you think about that. So there are too many variables. The important thing is first of all to have confidence. I don't like when, and that was happening always in the last season. I never saw an interview where, for example, Allegri was saying we are the favorite to win the Champions League. He
Yeah,
was always mentioning other teams, and this is not the right way to put confidence in your players. I understand that he
I
might
agree.
say this to protect the environment. I understand all this, but that has a pretty strong side effect when you say this. So
Yeah,
I would prefer to say something like we are one of the favorite, maybe one of the two, three, four.
yeah.
Then your players know that they have to deliver.
Yes.
Otherwise, you just give excuses to them to not deliver. Anyway, that was my thing. So this year, I say that if we arrive if we peak in March, if we pick in March, and if we are very solid, and if we don't have injuries, because that's the
Yeah,
story of Juventus in Champions League. We always arrive at the topic games with a lot of key men out, and
yeah.
if we, that's why there are too many variables. But
Well,
if all the things are in the right place, we might have a chance. Yes.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And then I think Rav was just busting some balls, asking you if you sleep with those sunglasses on.
Look, that was a funny question. I wanted to come with the sunglasses now,
Yeah.
but I say no. Let's avoid.
No,
No,
that's
but
okay.
Rav has a fantastic eyes,
Oh yeah,
so he wanted to underline that probably.
it's amazing.
Just
Um,
joking, shout out.
Next question. If this is from James Martino, he's in Canada as well, and he says if he has to choose a game in Turin to come and watch, is it better to see a Champions League match or one of the derbies?
If with derbies you mean Juventus Toro, yeah, they're always special, of course, but the opponent at the moment is so weak that you might not enjoy too much. But it's of course from 0 to 10 is a solid 8, 9 a derby.
Yeah,
If with derby you mean Juve Inter, the derby of Italia,
D'Italia.
then yeah, then Juve Inter is definitely, especially this season, is definitely a games to see. There are so many things for it. I mean, Conte is back to the stadium. They are contenders for Scudetto, so absolutely is the game that I am waiting for the most in the next part of the season. Of course, all the eventual quarter final, semi-final of Champions League, because these are big games too. So I would say if you pick anything between Juve Inter or quarter or semi-final, you are good.
Perfect. Now another question coming in. It seems to be a fan that's really just frustrated with a couple players playing time in particular in our midfield, Khedira and Matuidi. He's asking about Rabiot and why Rabiot hasn't cracked our 11, and he would have him in our 11. So I guess he's just kind of asking, what's your ideal midfield if you could put it together for us so far from what you've seen for our guys? Does Rabiot crack that starting 11 for you? Emery Chan, that's another guy he's asking about.
Yeah. Let me say in this way. I believe, if I project myself and the team in the second part of the season, I see a midfield with Rabiot, Pjanic, and maybe Khan or Bentancur. That's what I see. Bentancur normally at the moment it was used as a sub of Pjanic, even if, to be honest, in the derby they play together. So something is changing also there. Matuidi and Khedira, they are good guys, of course. You know all the story. I just don't see them consistently playing for in the starting lineup in the second part of the season, because I believe Rabiot can provide more, can give more. Yeah. Rabiot, you all know, he basically didn't play for one year. Yeah. So it's and also he didn't play a lot of minutes so far with Juventus. So he's starting to get some minutes, and he's showing some encouraging, steps, increasing his form. So I believe Rabiot could be an important player for us. And I didn't mention Ramsey. Ramsey, of course, is a key player this year. I don't count too much on him simply because he's very often injuries or having issues. But when he plays, you can see a different level of quality. He's a fantastic player. And to be honest, I knew he was strong, but I wasn't expecting a so good player. We all have in our eyes, I think it was the game against Inter. I remember one game he played brilliantly, and that is, if we get that Ramsey, then it's a huge added value for us.
Absolutely. This is the one everybody seems to want to get a little insight on. If you can shed some light on the situation with the fans at Kubasud there and what's going on in the stadium. I know we're running tight for time. This will probably be the last one.
Yeah. No, that's an important question because it's affecting so much the environment around the Juventus, not only on the pitch but also when you look a game on TV. It can be a real difference. First of all, let me say one thing. I knew 100% because I'm in contact with a number of journalists. Players, they don't like this. Players are asking the management to do something because they miss the noise in the stadium. For players, is important, especially in the games. I got this comment just after Juventus Lokomotiv, where we were, 0-1 and then we won 2-1, but it wasn't easy. And the stadium wasn't really singing, wasn't loud. So the players really felt the need to have an extra support from the stadium. And again, I know for sure that the players are asking management to do something because they don't like it. Anyway, let me go back 1 second. So yes, the situation is changing for the worse. In the first 2-3 seasons of the Juventus stadium, the new stadium, the atmosphere was amazing. Was a hell. It was fantastic. It was really not the 12th player, but probably it was even the 13th player.
Yeah.
Okay. It was fantastic. And Curva, which is the most noisy sector of the stadium, is Curva Sud. Curva Sud, there are like 9,000 seats. The stadium is 41, so there are rather 32,000 seats around, But only in Curva Sud, normally you will hear the noise. And then if there is noise there, the rest of the stadium will eventually follow, okay? Curva Sud, why they are making noise? Because there are 5-6 organized groups the so-called ultras. Now, I'm not going to talk about what is good, what is bad. There are for sure many bad things. But a fact, I'm talking about a fact. Ultras group, more or less, they are around, if you sum all of them, around 2,000 people in Curva Sud. So out of 9,000, 2,000 are organized groups. Organized, what does it mean? It means that, first of all, when someone is starting to sing a song, all the other people, part of that group, will immediately follow the song. So you immediately have a fantastic noise. And then the rest of the people around the groups will also follow, okay? If I'm not part of any group, if I'm going there and suddenly I stand and I start to sing a song, no one else will follow, okay?
Yeah.
And actually they will even say, what are you doing? Sit down, idiot, no? You can try once, you can try twice, but nobody will follow in a serious way. And that's the difference between organized and not organized. So when people ask me, but why don't you start to sing? Because it doesn't work like this in the stadium.
Yeah.
And that's also you see in the other 31,000 people of the stadium. That's exactly the reason. Is they are not organized, so nobody will, in a serious way, start to sing a song. So that's the big problem there. Juventus now is trying, the management is they really want to get rid of all organized groups. They've done already a lot of steps in this direction, and they are succeeding. So I really expected that the curva, as we all know from the past, it won't be back.
Wow.
Forget about that. It's the past. Organized groups are already now almost not even going to the stadium, or they are partially going. They like to. It's like they prefer now to go to away games where there is more freedom for them. But for them, getting access to the stadium is now very complicated. You cannot even bring flags. You cannot bring, even if you have a jersey with a Ultras logo, the club will give you a fine.
Wow.
A fine of €200, and that is a kind of yellow card. If you do it again, you are banned from the stadium for 3 years.
Wow.
So these kind of things are really killing the passion of these guys. And look, there is a lot of criminality within these organized groups. But I tell you, I mentioned before, maybe 2,000 ultras are part of Curva Sud. Very few of them are the ones that are eventually making a lot of money with, criminal thing. Very few of them. The big majority of them are people like me and you who just like to be part of a group and like to go there and sing and stand for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So please, that's a message I want to bring. Please try not to generalize when you talk about ultras, because the 90% of the cases, they are fantastic people that really have a big passion for the team. So it's a very difficult topic, this one. Yeah. All the bad things must go away from the stadium. I agree with this, absolutely. Yeah. And again, I'm not part of any group. I'm completely independent. But this has a side effect that the stadium will be more and more silent. I guess my prediction is that in the next 1-2 years, there will be a kind of transitional phase where the stadium will become more and more silent. Yeah. And then probably the club then will find a way to organize something different, like, for example, what is happening in Madrid, where Real Madrid, they have a small sector behind the goal. You see them because they are always dressed in white, and they are paid by the club, and they make some noise, okay? So that could be, it's very cold, it's very
soulless,
like this, but soulless, yes. But that's the direction the club is taking. Yeah. My main concern, and I'm going to finish, my main concern is that now Juventus is winning. We are witnessing a fantastic winning cycle. And somehow the stadium is almost full. Even if, to be honest, already in the last season, out of 20 games, it was sold out maybe 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
Which is to me ridiculous if you think that we got Ronaldo. and we have a stadium which is pretty small as well.
Yeah.
Okay? This season so far we didn't get any sold out yet, and I can see with my eyes less and less people are going to the stadium again, even if this is a winning cycle. So my main concern is what happens when Juventus suddenly, sooner or later will happen, when Juventus will start to lose, when the cycle is over. Then I'm afraid that by that time, the most passionate fans will be already out of the stadium, or they will have no more the desire or the power to do the same things as before. And on top of that, there will be many less people going to the stadium. So it might well be that the stadium will be half empty without noise. So that's one of the scenarios that we need to think about.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. The part that I find very, very interesting is that you're saying the players are trying to get involved because they want that noise and stuff. That's something that I was always wondering. And it's funny, even on one of my podcasts last season, I said I would expect that the players would want that noise, that atmosphere to be there to support them and push them on. So it's interesting to hear that from you. But yeah. That's we'll see what ends up developing, but that's kind of a little doom and gloom at the end of the podcast because nobody wants to hear that. Everybody's hoping that we'd sort it out because even on broadcasts it's coming through pretty quiet, and I think it was the last match against Lokomotiv in Champions League where I could really tell, I could hear them. I knew it wasn't through the TV. I could hear the local fans. But
and that's really frustrating for us going to the stadium because again, the big majority want to sing, they want to support the game, but if there are no let's say support or directions or organized things, it's difficult to do it. And then, but guys, when you hear the opponent fans, they sing, they are 100% organized.
Yes.
So they even have big flags, things that we are not even allowed to bring inside the stadium, so it's an unfair competition in a way.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't understand why the club's doing that to themselves, really, but we'll see what develops there. Maurizio, I know we're tight for time. Very last question. Your favorite kit of all time, what was it? Your favorite jersey?
It might be strange, but I never thought about that. Probably is the one now, and I don't remember exactly this. Probably was season 2002, 2003. Was a Lotto jersey.
Fast
with
web
a kind of arch in the back. That one with Tudor name is my favorite one.
Tudor, nice.
Igor Tudor, yeah.
That's fantastic. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's actually one of the jerseys I got in a frame here. That's one of my favorites too. 02 there. That was 2002. Yeah. Maurizio, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully, definitely not the last time. I hope. For everybody listening, I'll talk to you guys after the next match this Wednesday against Loco in the Champions League. Maurizio, thank you again. If there's anything you want to let the people know of what you've got in the works, you can go ahead.
No, just Alberto, for you, thanks. And I actually look forward to meet you in Turin. Huh?
Absolutely, man. The next time I'm there, we're making it happen. 100%.
Very 100%. Good. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And until the match against Wednesday, as always, Forza Juve, fino alla fine. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.